Hey everybody, welcome back to my channel. I'm glad you could be here with me today. I have a review for you, but before we get to that, make sure you stay till the end of the video. I've got a couple of things I want to share with you there, so don't go anywhere. Stay till the end, okay? And I'm gonna talk to you today about the Audible adaptation of The Sandman by Neil Gaiman. Guys, this is top-notch, high-quality audio entertainment. I highly recommend this for anyone who enjoys a good story, enjoys audio dramas and audio dramatizations. You know, maybe you're someone who likes to listen to drama podcasts where, you know, they have serial stories that follow a major storyline through several different podcast episodes. This is kind of like what that is, but it's put out by the crew at Audible. They officially licensed this, and it's spearheaded by them. And this is not just an audiobook of Sandman. When I say it's an audio dramatization, I mean it's an audio dramatization. I mean they cast every part of the Sandman graphic novels for this audio adaptation. So, if you are not familiar with Sandman, I'll just give you a very brief introduction to the Sandman. It is based on a series of graphic novels put out by Vertigo Comics, which is now defunct, but it used to exist, and it was part of the DC comic universe. It was an imprint of DC, and it incorporates various characters from the DC mythos, like Batman and the Justice League and John Constantine, and but then you have Morpheus, who is also called Dream and also called the Sandman. He's the main character of the story, so he's an original creation of Neil Gaiman. Just a brilliant creation at that. And you've got other characters like Dr. Destiny from DC Comics popping up, and it's just this interconnected world that Neil has crafted that just makes it so brilliant. And the story picks up where there's this group of people who have tried to conjure up and capture death in order to use death for their own malicious purposes, and by mistake they actually conjure up Dream, and they capture Dream, and they hold him for some several hundred years or whatever it is, and until he finally is able to get loose and reclaim the dream world, which is his realm. And he is one of the endless. These are beings who are far and above all gods, all deities, all rulers. They never end, hence the endless, right? And they will not cease to exist until time itself ceases to exist, and the last person, the last human being has died that will ever exist, and then they will fade away into, I don't know, I guess oblivion at that point. I'm not sure, but yeah, Morpheus carries around a pouch of sand, which he can blow on people to cast them into a dream state. It's just, oh my gosh, brilliant story. So the audio adaptation covers 3 of the Sandman graphic novels. It covers the first 3 volumes. So that is unfortunately all you get to hear on the audio adaptation, but I have high hopes that if this does really well, and I think it has already done really well in terms of popularity and the money it's made, I have a feeling they will probably continue with more adaptations. I don't know why they wouldn't. I could totally see them putting together audio dramas for all of the Sandman collection. So there's 10 graphic novels, I think. So they've covered the first 3. So they've got 7 more to go. I think it could easily be done. But, a lot of work goes into it. Casting the lead roles and, getting these well-known actors to find time in their schedule to come in and do the recordings and things like that. And I'll talk a little bit more about that here in just a minute. But it's a lot of work goes into it, and I just really hope that they will see the value in doing it again. It does feature a mostly all-star cast. There's a few castings that I didn't recognize that they got for some of the lesser roles, but for the big name characters that are in the story, like Dream and Lucifer plays a big part in it, and a few other characters like John Constantine and Dr. Destiny and things like that. They got some big names to voice these characters. James McAvoy, for instance, is the voice of Morpheus. And oh my gosh, his performance blew me away. I mean, he was just the perfect casting for the voice of Dream. Now, I don't really see him as the right person to portray the Sandman in the TV adaptation, which is coming to Netflix, and I think it's already filming. But he was perfect for the voice casting, just spot on. In fact, in the second volume, which is The Doll's House, and actually one of my favorite stories in the Sandman series, there are parts in there where he just absolutely sent chills up your spine with his performance. I mean, you felt the fear of the characters that he was unleashing his power on, and you just felt there, and you felt in the moment. It was just absolutely brilliant. And there's painful moments, there's brutally heart-wrenching moments, and there's moments of laughter, and there's just laugh out loud moments where you're like, wow, where did they come up with that? But these castings were just pulled off brilliantly. Michael Sheen does the voice for Lucifer. I think I mentioned that maybe, and if I didn't, there you go. Reza Ahmed is in it as well. There's several fairly well-known actors and actresses that are attached to this audio adaptation. I highly, highly recommend you give this a listen. And James McAvoy specifically, I'm really glad they got him, because from my understanding, they almost didn't. They were having a lot of scheduling conflicts and everything, and then with COVID hitting, just everything was, kind of last minute. Neil said that there were a few occasions he just wasn't sure he was going to be able to get James McAvoy, and that was his first pick. But he ended up getting a break in his schedule, and he was able to come in and do the recordings. So I think he was the last to come in and do his voice recordings. I think they had recorded everything else except his lines, and it finally worked out, and I'm really glad it did. If you set aside everything else that I've said about the castings, this audio adaptation is worth it just for the narrator. And why is that? Because Neil himself narrates this epic story. And you can't get better than Neil Gaiman as a narrator. I have bought several of his books on audio, even though I have them in physical form, just because I want Neil to read me a bedtime story. I want to hear Neil narrate his books. And so I was absolutely thrilled to be able to get this adaptation with Neil as the narrator. I pre-ordered it before it was even released. I was so excited to have it. So there you go, guys. That's it. If there's no other reason, that's a reason to listen to this. But also the score. The score is bone-chilling at times. It just has this epic score throughout the whole entire story. the highs and the lows, the trebles and the basses, and the the movie scores set in the background are just perfect and flow beautifully with the story, and it really just draws you in to this adaptation. So I really, really encourage you to pick this up. I give it a solid 5 dragons, and I think you will be really pleased if you listen to this. It is on Audible, and if you don't have an Audible subscription and you've never had one before, maybe this is the time you should do your free trial, because you can get a free audiobook or 2, maybe. Yeah, maybe even 2 audiobooks for free, and you can make the Sandman one of them. So just do it, guys. Pick it up. Highly recommend that you get this audio dramatization. Why did I space out dramatization? They're not 2 words. There's several syllables. Yeah, never mind. My mistake. I'm tired. It's late. You know what? What can I say? So let's move on, guys, but definitely check that out. Just a couple quick things. The other day, I did release a long-form discussion on the Wheel of Time that I did with my friend Elliot, so make sure to check that video out. Like I said, it is a longer one. It's a little over an hour, so make sure you have time to sit down and watch it. But we had fun discussing the Wheel of Time, Book 1, Eye of the World, and we got into a few other little nerdy tangents, as well as talked a little bit about the TV show that Amazon Prime is doing. So that was a lot of fun. Make sure you check that out. Make sure that you stick around, because I will be doing a summary here pretty soon of my Lovecraft-tober book readings. I've almost finished the Lovecraft books that I wanted to read. I'm just on the last one, which is At the Mountains of Madness, and I still had wanted to try and get in a reread of the Ballad of Black Tom, which I hope I'll be able to get to as well. So I'll be doing a summary of that probably here, hopefully next week's video. That's going to be my goal there. And do make sure to stay tuned for my future videos. I hope to have a lot of great content coming down the road for you guys. And I think that about wraps it up, guys. Make sure that you do all this stuff right here on the screen, so that you can help support my channel, and it does really mean a lot to me if you do that. Make sure you check the description below so that you can see any extra information about this video. I always put some links down there and stuff like that, other places you can follow me, so make sure to check out the links and the description below. And thanks so much for tuning into my channel, guys. Make sure you are reading more books, or in this case, listening to more books. I'll talk to you in the next video. Bye.